Well, good evening, everybody. I'm Lisa Stone of Parenting Aces, which is a digital platform to support parents of junior and collegiate tennis players. We have a website, parentingaces.com. We also have a weekly podcast. We have social media, and I also do one-to-one consults with families to help guide you through the journey of junior tennis and college recruiting. And I was so excited when Brett and Andres reached out to me to co-host this webinar for you guys tonight to talk about GottaTennis and talk about what technology is doing now to help develop junior players, how technology that was once only used on the Pro Tour is now being adapted for use at the junior level, and what that means for all of you as junior tennis and college tennis, hopefully parents, and your kids as they go through this process. So Brett Hobden is here. He is the mastermind behind GottaTennis. And Brett, maybe you can give us a little bit of background on what GottaTennis is and why these parents should be interested in what we're talking about tonight.
Yeah, we're really excited after 4 or 5 years working with players on the tour with analytics, which we always talk about it as providing like an MRI to your game, right? That we dive into the details, and for the junior players and even the Pro Tour players, the data that we get, we look at the game differently. We get data that really leads to actionable on-court uh, lessons, things you should work on, insights that you need to focus on in your game, which really becomes a player development roadmap. So on the Pro Tour, we also use it as a scouting tool of how to beat your opponent. But for the juniors, it's really an unbelievable opportunity to really know what to work on in their game. So we have a analytics system, and we also have an education platform to offer these parents right now. So that's what we do with analytics and education, really to help these juniors to perfect their game. And this flywheel slide here really says what happens for the junior level. So any player now can send us a video of a match that they are playing, and we can run that through our software and give you insights on your game of exactly what's working and what's not, what to focus on in development. So as we know, there's dozens of things you could be working on, but am I working on the fifth and ninth and 15th most important thing? Or am I working on the first, second, and third most important thing? So it really helps guide you to what you've got to work on. And then our education platform helps you, gives you advice of how to improve those things. And that's
I
a
love it.
combination
I
of
love it.
two things. Yeah.
Yeah, and I just want to let everybody know that's in the room with us tonight. If you have a question, the chat feature is active, so you can type a question in there. At the end of Brett's presentation, we're going to be taking questions from you guys because this is for you. My tennis player is 28 years old now, so I'm past all this. I am done being the tennis mama, but I am here now trying to facilitate information getting from the hands of people like Brett and Andras to the families that can actually use it to help their players develop. So please do put your questions in the chat, and we will get to those at the end of the presentation.
Yeah, and Lisa, I would just say about thank you for that. The analytics, and people might say, well, we've heard about it. We've even seen some stats on TV when we watch matches, but numbers alone don't really tell a story of why a match was won or lost. And numbers don't really guide you to what you need to work on, right? It gives you like a very 30,000 foot view of what could have occurred in a match. But what we do is we dive into the tactical situations and shot selection, things that matter, that go towards your ability and success of building a tennis point, which builds games, which builds sets. So that's the insights we look at, and we offer the expertise of how to improve those things on the digital academy.
So, Brett, is this an app or is it a platform that you have on your side and players or parents would submit video to you to plug into the software and then you would give the reports back?
Yeah, we have like a web version and an app version, and with the Pro Tour players, they get our app. We usually work with them for a year at a time, but and it depends on the type of relationship we build with the parent and the player, and hopefully their coach to offer this technology now to junior development. I believe is going to be a game changer. So, what may have taken you 9 months to improve, you're going to be doing it in 9 weeks. And in some cases, believe it or not, it could be 9 days because if you're not working on the right thing, you could be spinning your wheels out there, working really hard and trying and putting all you got into it, but you're not even working on what matters at the end of the day in your match play. So, you know, you can watch a match and have a gut feeling about it. And, that's going to replace subjective observations and really give, metrics and insights onto what really happened. This is what happened, and this is the data. And the beauty of is all of our data and insights are connected to the footage. So you get to see it and watch it. So what went right, what went wrong, and then we can track your level of performance. So, in our flywheel approach, let's say you analyze a match and then you see a couple of glaring things you need to work on to move the needle to raise your level of play. Then you analyze another match. Now you can actually compare. Did I improve? Instead of saying, I think I got better, I think I improved that. It feels better. Well, now we can say, you know what? You made 21 unforced errors in your last match on this specific forehand in this area of the court. And in that situation, you're only making seven now. So yes, the data says you've improved, which is nice to know, right? And
Absolutely. And I'm sorry to keep cutting off
yeah,
here, but
no, not at all.
we're trying to keep this a little interactive. And one of the things that I get asked, and one of the frustrations that families express over and over and over again, is why isn't there one developmental pathway for junior tennis? Why can't you tell me as a parent, first you do this, then you do this, then you do this, right? And it's just not the nature of an individual sport because there's so many variables. But it seems to me from seeing this platform and talking to you, Brett, that you're not able to create a one size fits all pathway, but you are able to create a pathway specific for that kid that makes sense based on where they're starting and where they want to wind up.
Absolutely, and you said it right. It's an individual sport, and the needs for one player, even though they may be the same level when they play, and the match is really close at 7-5, 7-6, but one player's strengths is not even the same as the other. One may have a great serve, the other one has a lousy serve. One has a good return, the other one has a great return. One has a great forehand, but the other player has a great backhand. And so, but to develop your game, you need the insights on your serve, on your return, and in play, and all the situations that are out there to really find out where are the holes in my game? What do I need to work on? And if you're just randomly working on things, you're going to take a very long time to get from A to B to C. And what the data does, it drives the decisions of what you need to practice and the education of how you need to practice these things. And so that's why you can't say, here's a roadmap of how to get good, because it might work for 1 in 10 players. We want to ensure we work the right plan for 10 out of 10 players. So it's really
Yeah.
custom design for the individual.
And what it does is it creates a more cost effective way to develop a junior player because, as you said, you're not wasting time working on things that aren't going to help you improve, but rather you're honing in on the very specific pieces of your game, whether it's footwork, whether it's the mental side, whether it's court positioning, whether it's stroke production, fitness. I mean, all these pieces that then when you go to a lesson, it is very specific
Right.
and can attack those needs.
Yeah, and one of the pillars we talk about is, and why we built the analytics platform the way that we did. We took the approach of, when you boil it down, except for the serve, tennis is a question answer game, right? So
Yeah.
where I am on the court and the level of difficulty of the ball I receive poses a question. Now, when I get there, there's many ways I can answer it, which we see zones. That's where I am on the court. Modes is the mode of play. And when I've asked, like way back many, many years ago when they were juniors with Tommy Haas, Andre Agassi, we had those conversations of, you can hit the ball great. You can be a great hitter, but you might not be a great player. And how many times have we seen that in juniors, right? Particularly, you could see someone who strikes the ball beautifully, and you look at them warm up with another, and you think, oh, this is going to be a whitewash out there. This player's going to be, and you come back 30 minutes later, and that player's down 2-6, 4-1, and you cannot believe the player up the other end is winning that match. You say it's not possible. Look at the way they hit the ball. So there's more to winning this, tennis matches than hitting the ball. So first you got to understand the question, where am I? And modes of play tell you what tactical situation you're in. Most players, and I can guarantee you, even at the pro level, they're not even clear of this, but in the juniors, certainly not most of them. Am I defending, counterattacking, rallying, challenging, or attacking? And they look at you like, I have no clue. And I go, well, that's a big part of the question. If you don't know the question, how are you going to give a good answer, the right answer? And they're like, well, wait a minute. I haven't thought about that. So when we talk about decision making and shot selection, that's shot types, we're analyzing that. So we're teaching players to look at through the game of becoming a tennis player, not a tennis hitter. And that's a
Mhm.
very big difference. And when we look at, say, the three greatest of all time, Federer, Nadal, and Djokovic, you'd say, do they play exactly the same? Not even close. Their
Yeah.
tactics are different, their strategy's different. One's left-handed, for crying out loud. One's got a one-handed backhand, and they have different serves. They play different ways, but look what they've accomplished. So that's why there's no one way to say, if you do this, this, and this, and play like this, you can be a great player. No, everyone's an individual. Our goal is to build that individual to be the best player they can be by giving these types of insights that make the difference and move the needle in a dramatic way.
I love it. All right. I'm going to be quiet for a minute and let you just show us what you got.
No, but that's great questions. And this is just a good image here to say, when we communicate with a player, we're going to give you a couple of serving insights, a couple of returning insights, and in play. We might see 15 things we could tell you about what you need to work on your serve, but you can guarantee we're going to give you the number one and two, same in returning and in play, and we're going to give you court positioning advice, tactical advice, and shot selection advice, right? And so we look at the game as, to improve your level of play, you need to be able to learn technical solutions to tactical situations. You see,
Explain what that means.
So a technical solution to a tactical situation means I could hit you a ball on your forehand side and give you 20 different situations to hit it in. Now, I'll give you an example. I could hit a high loopy ball to your forehand. You're going to play it up near your head high. I could hit it short and low below your knees. I could hit it waist high to you. Those are three tactical different situations. And you might say, Brett, I love waist high ball. I can just hit that for winners all day long. You put the ball up near my head and below my knees, drives me nuts. And I hate that. So we want to bring to life those particular shots, they are different technical solutions to a waist high ball, right? So
Yeah,
we've got to look at tennis that way. It's not just developing a forehand. This is a game of adaptation, right? And so if you don't learn to adapt all your ground strokes, your volley, your footwork in this game, you look like a good hitter, but you will not be a good player. Yeah.
got
So
it.
let's take a look, right, at how this analytics works and some of the insights we see. So I'm gonna the chat. Oh, is the chat not enabled? All right. Hold on a second. Here. So let's stop maybe sharing.
Yeah, 1 second.
Hold on, we just got to enable the chat. Maybe it's not enabled.
Oh, that's funny. It's enabled on my end, but
Oh,
maybe that's because I'm a co-host.
Okay.
there we go. Chat. Everyone. There we go. There we
Cool.
technical difficulties. Right? Okay, 1 second. Oh, okay. So let me share back here. All right. Can you see that with reports?
Got it.
Got it. All right, good. So the match that, yes, we do have numerical data. We are going to look at Yannick Sinner and Daniil Medvedev in a match played in Beijing. So we have numerical data. Let me just do this. Okay. And we look at the lens I meant earlier, serving, returning, in play. So this is our high level way we look at the game. So Yannick Sinner in this match, see, only served three aces, but we're also serving the serves that he hit so well that forced Daniel into error. So you see, in this game, we can't just look at winners and unforced errors because it gives us a very distorted view of what happened in a tennis match. We have to credit a player for forcing you to miss. So if I hit a ball so well that you are forced to miss, I want to be credited for that and I want to know about it. The same would go for returning. You had two winners and two forcing shots, and this is very good to show juniors is the top players in the world are not trying to hit winners and forcing shot in return. There was only six hit in the entire match of one of the greatest returners of all time. And it's a 7-6, 7-6 match. So it wasn't just a couple of games played here, right? So that's the insights that juniors go, wait a minute, if I only hit two winners and four forcing shots, I had a bad day returning. Well, it's why you make so many errors on return because you're tactically doing the wrong things, right?
Mhm.
And in play, you see that he hit 25 winners, 22 forcing shots, and 14 unforced errors. So his in-play performance is 33, which is a good healthy number. So for the amount, and we call this the aggressive margin. So we're starting off with getting players to understand what does your aggressive margin look like, right? So at a high level, we do that. And we have different detailed reports, but I'll go into the visuals of what makes this so powerful. So our data is presented in a very visual format. So the player, the coach, the parent can see what it would look like on a tennis court. And we have a beautiful way of filtering all of these things, first serves and second serves, and getting your performance on those things. How did you serve in the deuce court or the ad court? The type of serves you're hitting, flat serves or you're hitting slice serves. What type of serve? Where does Sinner serve at deuce and 30 all? Well, if we're charting against him, we're going to say, have a look, watch out for out wide here, right? So we're looking at all those things and drilling down to the specifics of the serve. And we look at the first serve placement, and we're going to go to a junior match in a moment and look at the spread like 17 wide in the deuce court, 2-1, couple of body serves there, and then T. And then we have, 5, 2, 4, and 11. So obviously, Sinner is deliberately hitting a lot of balls out wide in this match. And I'll just go to in we could see his returning performance in this match. Where did he hit his first serve from, his second serves from? But I'll go to in play. These are all the balls you hit after the serve and return.
Wow.
We know the direction of all those balls, and up this end, we know where they land. So it's like these are all the balls you hit. This is where they land. And then we can start filtering and things and start saying, hey, where did he hit all his winners from? So we can start to analyze those. Every data point, we know what kind of shot it was, how fast it was, and that was 100-mile-an-hour dip drive. And if you said, "Oh, I wanna have a look at that one," I'm just gonna play it. Check this out. This is 100-mile-an-hour dip drive. Sinner's down the other end. Watch. Here it comes. Boom. There it is. So I can find that level of specificity of shot in a matter of seconds, right? I can use these filters, and this is how we give the players the insights. We've got this powerful filtering system. And remember earlier I talked about modes and shot types. There's our modes of play right here, right? And then here's all the ways that we look at the shot types: a drive, a dipper, an arc, a loop, a lob, an angle, an up and down, a dip drive, a bender, and a drop shot. And most junior players would say, I don't even know what they are. But when they watch tennis matches, they've seen them all. But on the education platform, we teach you what they are. We show you how to hit them. We've heard of drive. We know what that is. We've heard of drop shots and lobs. Okay, we've got that. An angle. Okay, but what's a dipper? What's a that's why? So there are other shots in the game that you need to have in your toolkit to become a complete player. So this is all the way that we analyze a tennis match. We can look at there's like Sinner's serve +1 or serve +1 lost. So we've got all these ways that we can filter a match and have a look. So let's just say I was trying to give him some insights. I look at winners, I look at his forcing shots, and I say, ooh, if I'm giving insights of a player playing this guy, do you see where he's most dangerous right now? You think we're going to hit that ball and let him start teeing off from zone 3 and 4 in runway A and B? That's where he's most dangerous. And I can tell and I can filter that out. And I can say zone 3 and 4 and A and B. Don't hit there to this guy. He's dangerous. And is he hitting forehands and backhands? Both. So the most dangerous part on the court when you're looking at Yannick Sinner is right there. So there you go. If you're playing Yannick Sinner next week, you know where not to give him too many balls, right? So
And this is so interesting to me because I'm looking at this court and I'm saying, well, all of these dangerous shots are on the backhand side, yet he's hitting as many forehands from that side of the court as he is backhand.
there you go. And look where he doesn't do damage from. Zone 3 and 4 and runway A right through near the middle. So
Yeah.
a player has those spots and shots that they love. So he loves hitting the back end there, loves moving to his left and finding that runaround forehand. And if we look at just the forehand runaround shots from that area, and I just look at um, 3 and 4 and A and B, he's equally comfortable going
Oh,
both.
wow.
That's why he's so dangerous because
Yeah.
no, he doesn't have he can go either way, right? Just like we could say, where is he most vulnerable then? So we could add, we're looking at a different thing now. We're looking at forced errors. Oh, isn't it interesting that out wide to his forehand, he's easier to get a forced error off? How about his unforced errors? Ah, he makes more unforced errors there. Why? Because he's most aggressive from there. So
Yeah.
you see, we can start telling a story about a tennis match. And this is what we do for players. We build a story about their game and say, this is what you're good at. We know this is what you like. And these are the things that we need to really pay attention to because you don't want to be working on something that's costing you 2 or 3 points a match. Wouldn't it be nice to work on something that's costing you 18 points a match? Right? But do I
Yeah.
know what that is? That's what the data and analytics show. Let me go to a junior match right now because we'll have a quick look.
I think the chat is still not
This
available.
this okay, we're looking at the chat because people can't chat to us. Hold on a second. I'll just stop sharing. Oh, someone's
No, that was Lisa.
no, okay.
Okay.
Where it says it how awesome
Oh, yeah.
here we go. Oh, host.
There we go.
There we go. So people might be trying and we can't see anything. So
Uh-oh. Oh, no.
so okay, we'll go back.
Ah, there we go.
There we
Okay.
go.
Thank you for letting us know.
There, thank you. Okay. So we're going to go to a junior match now. Okay. So this is a junior match and we'll have a look. The score of this match was 3-6-6-7. So I'll go back to here and have a look at the overview. Now, you remember we saw Sinner, obviously, serving performance was very high. So we can see right away we have no aces, couple of forcing serve, and 3 double faults. So clearly we're going to be looking into this player's serve. 1 forcing shot and in play. Okay, I really like in play for this player the amount of winners and forcing shots they're hitting as a junior is impressive. What's not impressive here is the unforced errors. Now imagine their in play for performance, their aggressive margin, if very quickly we can get that 24 down to 10. This is a winnable match, just like that. And you go, wow, I had no idea because if you go back even to the numbers, they were pretty close. They won 46% of the points. They're not far off, right? And when we go to the score of this match, you can see by 3-6-6-7. So if you look at set two, right? They won 47% of the points. Set one will be a bit lower, 43. But in set two, they were almost there. So this is a very winnable match. So if we give this player the insights of what to work on, next time round, they could win this match because they've worked on the things that created the difference of winning and losing. And so if we go to shot location, remember what I said serve, right? So I didn't even need to look at the diagram, but we saw from the high level view, and we look at, here the players' first serve, you can see when we look at their, right, we've got, see, 11 and 11 in the middle and 16 and 13 in the middle of the box. So they need to work on direction. Second serve, again, really no direction. So we can start getting a serve plan, right? Now, we do offer technical help as well because we obviously can advise pro coaching teams in technique. So you might say, okay, we're aware of this now. We have trouble going down the tee out wide, and then we start to look into the player's technique. So this is not only a tactical shot selection data tool, it's a technical analysis tool for us as well. And I'll show you how we use that. So we can look in this player's performance in returning. That's their returning position, first serve, second serve. We can see the directions of their returns, right? A lot of short balls, and we call this here the diamond. We call that the deadly diamond, right? Intermediate, advanced, and pro. So if you hit a ball in the deadly diamond at the pro level, the first ball that goes in there, your chance of winning the point goes down by 50%. You hit two balls in a row there, you're down to 25%. And in juniors, they probably hit four or five balls in a row in there. So one of the things we work on is getting kids to practice. And if they're like that would be the size of their diamond, working on getting the ball out of the diamond as an example. So it really teaches them how to have the proper shot selection. This is all the in play balls. And remember earlier I said I loved his forcing shots and winners. So check this out. These are the winners. I see a lot of action at net. So if I filter out volleys, right? So I can go here and filter out volleys. See, there's this player's volleys. These are the ground strokes. I like what I see. I add forcing shots. I like what I see. What didn't I like? Unforced errors. When I look at the unforced errors here and I bring up the runways, I see this patch here that bothers me a lot, especially it's on their forehand. So I would look at zone 3 and 4 and A and B on the deuce side. So zones 3 and 4 and A and B on the deuce side. And then what we're going to do to analyze them, we bring up the video and we're going to play them in order of this young chap hitting these balls. So he's down this end here. That's the ball he missed right in that spot, right? So we can filter it down and then we can start studying why is this player missing this ball a lot? So how do we do that? So we can look at the technique, have a look at the player getting in position and hitting this ball. So right there, we can see the contact points too close to his body. That's going to be a technical thing that we're going to look for in future shots. All right. And we keep playing them and we watch the next one. Oh, he wasn't happy yet.
What's interesting watching this, and I play women's league tennis, so it's a little bit different than this. But one of the things I always try to do when I'm playing with a partner is if my partner's missed a shot, if they've gotten the ball they want, but they just weren't able to execute on it, right? It's like, okay, but we're taking a step in the right direction. So this kid's getting the ball he wants, right? That's where he wants to be hitting from.
Yes.
He just needs to cut down on the error.
Right. And
right.
Yes.
So there's a win in that he is forcing his opponent to give him a ball in the area of the court that eventually is going to pay off for him.
Absolutely. And that's the silver lining here, right? It's like that's where you want to be. And so then we can help with a player technically as well if they need help. But it's first of all bringing awareness. And we like to, we do even this with the top pros in the world. We get them to self-correct and analyze. And with the lens we look through, Lisa, is saying, first analyze the tactic. Did I choose the right thing to do? If I did I miss because the technique let me down? Did something fail me there? But what if the tactic and the technique was good? Maybe I missed because my target area was wrong. So we call it the 3 T's: tactic, technique, target, right? And then finally the quality of shot. I could have had a good a good tactic, a good technique, a good target, but I got chicken and I didn't hit the ball, right? And that's quality of ball. But it gives players a sense of understanding why they missed. Because the
Yeah.
worst thing is, and I think we've heard this a million times, a player will hit the ball in the net, and even a coach will say, why did that go on the net? They go, I don't know.
Yeah.
That is right. If you hear that for 4 years, I don't know, right? That is impeding the player's development. They've got to know why, and they've got to have some understanding of why. Um, so yeah, so it's an approach that I think is very complete in the nature of analyzing a tennis match, taking all these considerations and it becomes a very powerful player development tool. It's
Hmm.
not just a data stats thing. It's a player development tool to guide the players, like what they need to practice, what's most important right now. Yeah.
Love that.
So I don't know, did any of the chat questions come through?
Yeah. Yeah.
Sure.
Would you
Yeah,
like to start with those?
let's yeah, because obviously we could spend lots of time in here and have fun with all the ways we can analyze a match, but I'd love to hear some questions. Yeah.
So the first question is, how much time would it take for you to process a full match video?
How much time?
Hmm.
Um, I mean, a little bit depends on the length of the match, but if we got it in the morning, you'd get the results in the afternoon.
Okay.
Yep.
And
So it's a
then,
pretty quick turnaround. Yeah.
okay. And they send it to you through the app, or how do they
Just
get the video to you?
just a link, like
Okay.
any link, or if they upload to YouTube or give us a link to their video, they may have captured it on a GoPro, they may have captured it on a phone. As long as we can access the footage, we can create the match. That's all and it has to be obviously this rear camera angle view. And
Okay.
if you don't have video capabilities, where we're just finalizing with a company that has an incredible video option that's under $200, that does an absolutely magnificent job. It's heat proof. It doesn't die in the heat. Or if it starts raining, it isn't going to hurt it at all. So it's a good option. So we'll let people know if they're like, well, what device do I use? We're going to come up with an option because obviously pro matches are all set up for right
Yeah.
for video. So we can help out there. But basically, we get that camera angle view, we can do it.
And Roger just typed in the same question I was getting ready to ask you, which is, does Swing Vision work? Are y'all able to pull video from Swing Vision?
Yes, as long as it's this camera angle, if you've
Yeah,
used Swing Vision and it gives us now we have to have a full match, but you notice what's important here because we've got to get data in well behind the baseline and wide. So if the video stops at like the doubles alley and we can't see the player hit the ball, we can't create the data. So it needs to be a wide angle view because what we can't see, we can't track.
of course, of
Of
course.
course, yeah. If Swing Vision, if the video view angle is good like this one, it works out great. Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, we've got another question. Is there an automatic integration between Gata Analytics and the Learning Academy? What I mean is, when we see a place of improvement in analytics, will the analytics report automatically direct a player to the learning platform exactly for that technical, or for what technical things a player needs to improve?
Right. So the education platform, all the language that's in here about zones and modes and shot types and all that, there's tutorials on all of that in the education platform, and then you can select and find the instruction on those things within the platform. But if we're working with a player, with in our system, and we're going to select 10 junior players, in the next few months to start working with juniors, because we have worked with a couple sort of offline, and the development of the players is just it's outrageous. You can imagine you're moving the needle for a player. Well, a good example is like Jakub Mensik. We started with him at 17. He was just about turning 18 just over a year ago. He was like 480 in the world, a promising junior player. He's top 50 in the world now.
Yeah.
And all the players that were around his level as a junior, they're still in the 300s, and high 200s. So the difference of how it accelerated his improvement was off the map. And we thought, wow, if we can do that now he was a world class junior. He was number 11 in the world. He wasn't the best, but he was one of the best. If that can do that from him, what can it do for all levels of play? And that's what we're excited about, a company that we can bring this technology and education to junior players and help develop them. So the language and everything in analytics is identical in the education platform. So it has complete synergy.
I think so. And Deepak, maybe you can type another question to explain, but are you saying like if you're watching or looking at the analytics and like you wanted to click on a specific shot, would that take you to the learning platform? Is that what you're asking?
Okay.
Yes, he says that's what he's asking.
Okay, no, at the moment, no, but it will be on our roadmap to do that, that there will be like a technology integration. Right now, there's this digital platform in the analytics. We tell you what you did in your match, then you just open up that browser with the education, and there you are. But yeah, on our roadmap, you could, hit find, and it will take you in there, and that will be something that will be definitely possible in the future, but not right now. Yeah.
Okay. And
Yeah.
he's also asking about the pricing model for the analytics. How does that work?
So it's per match, but we're gonna have a model that when we take on 10 players, it's gonna be like a per month model. And for the analytics and the education and to get on with an analyst and to devise like this roadmap for your game and give them online help, it's gonna be about $3.99 a month. So it's
Okay.
not inexpensive, but it's the kind of price point that in a month you may improve more than you would have in 6 because you're working on the right things. So
Mm-hmm.
we're using this technology, instead of other things you might be doing. And we all know that developing junior tennis players at a high level is not inexpensive. And we're saying, are you using your money as wisely as you can? And are you getting a great return on investment? And we feel for the value proposition we're offering and the direction that we could take that player in their development, their roadmap of development, it'll be game changing. And
Mm-hmm.
that's what we're looking to do. So we're going to, offer this, obviously starting off through maybe everybody that you're with. We want to obviously help US tennis, but we're a business and we're going to help players around the world. But we're starting off in this junior marketplace now, which is exciting. We've onboarded some collegiate teams as well. So it's really neat to feel like, we've tested this in the pro market for many years with number of the top men and women in the world starting to work with collegiate teams. And it's just so fulfilling to see what impact we can have on juniors as well.
Can you talk a little bit about how you integrate the player's home coach in these analytics sessions? So, for example, for me to watch this for my kid,
Right.
I'm not going to know what to do with this information, right? As the parent, but who needs this information is the coach. and the players so that they understand kind of their roadmap moving forward in lessons and drills and match play and all of the pieces of the developmental process.
Absolutely. And that's something that we're going to give the coach the education platform for free and say, we'd love you to get on and watch all the tutorials. We'd love you to be a part of the process. We'd love you to look at our data and show you what, so that you can go out of the court and not use your gut feeling, or I think we should spend a little bit more time on this and that, and turn a good coach into a super coach. I mean, that's our whole goal, right? Is to say, hey, we're going to do all this work for you. You're not going to have the capability or the capacity or probably not the time.
The time, right?
Right? It would take a coach to do a match like this and get all the data for every shot on the serve and the returns. With it'll take him 2 days.
Yeah.
That's it, right? They'd go
Yeah.
nuts, and we can say, here it all is. And so, yes, working together. I know some parents are the parent and the coach, or
Right.
some parents are really involved with the coach. And in other situations, the parent goes, hey, I trust the coach totally. Just please give him these insights to help him even be better. And that's our goal, is to sort of raise the ocean of coaching and playing around the world, right? By using data, technology, and better ways of doing things, and make their, I mean, what they're doing with it. I mean, it's going to be fulfilling for the coach. Their player's going to do better faster, right?
Yeah.
And
Right.
and that's what we want for them. We're not going to take any credit. We're just going to give you tools to do an even better job.
Love that. So somebody is asking, how will the call with the analyst look and what happens during that session?
Yeah, so it'll be a Zoom call like this.
Okay.
We can have ideally the player and the coach together, and maybe the parent too. And all right, here's your match. And just similarly, how I've, cast it here on a Zoom call, we can record it, we can send it to them, and we're going to visually show them. And we're even thinking to, like prior to the US Open, we've got a training facility up in New Jersey, just 25 minutes outside of New York at the U.S. Open. We might do a 3-day camp for kids we're working with, and look at their match play live in person. We've got the U.S. Open outdoor hard court. We've got a Wimbledon grass court. We've got a red clay court, Hartrue court, and an indoor court. So we got it all covered, right? And
Yeah.
we might have some fun with that, because this place is buzzing for about 2 weeks prior to the US Open, with pros hitting balls. I mean, if we can get some kids up here, their eyes will fall out of their head. It would be a lot of fun. But most of the time, it will be done through sessions like these.
Got it. Got it. You guys, any more questions? Just type them in the chat and we'll be happy to address them. We've got about 10 more minutes to give you guys.
Nice.
Brett, can you think of anything else that we've not touched on yet that you want to make sure everybody knows?
Yeah.
Well, let me do this. Tell us, how do they get in touch with you to get more information and to become part of the GottaTennis
Yeah,
platform?
we're going to reach out to everybody that gives us their email, and we'll have a welcome, and then you'll have a communication link with our team of experts. You'll hear from Andras, who's our genius that is running our education platform, and he will help them and communicate back and forward. And we're going to talk about all the details of what we can offer that group. And obviously, this is a real boutique offering to work with select players. And obviously, we're going to expand and take on more as we grow as well. And they'll hear from us. And we hope that we're excited about what we can do for player development, because um, you know you look at a lot of kids that are out there, they're working so hard, they're trying so hard, and you watch what they're doing, and you just say, but you're going to be out there an awfully long time to improve very little because you're not working on the right things. And that's the big thing. And I think what every parent is looking for is, what do we got to work on now to get better? Right? We've got
Hmm.
to raise the level of our play. It's like saying to someone, would you rather add 4 miles an hour to your serve? Or would you rather kick your neighbor's butt this time next weekend, right? It's like,
Yeah.
right, we can help you with your serve speed too, but we want to make you a better tennis player. We want you to win more matches, right? And that's the goal that we want to accomplish, right? But no, we'll communicate with them. Anyone that we get their email, we'll reach out and we'll talk about all the details of the process.
Love it. So everybody that registered for this webinar, for example, should receive a communication from you guys.
Fantastic. Well, we'll
Yeah.
definitely reach out to them.
Yeah, love it. Okay. How long does it usually take to see results? And could you provide some examples of the outcomes?
Yeah, I mean, look,
That's a tough question.
yeah, look, I can tell you what, working on the right things, you could see results in a week. And I'm not kidding. You know,
I, I've seen changes in a session,
oh,
one
oh,
session,
absolutely.
just getting the player to focus on the correct piece of
Absolutely.
information that they need to be focused on. So yes,
Right. I mean,
I believe it 100%.
yeah, I mean, and just awareness alone can change a whole lot. They're just not aware. You can see dramatic improvements over very short periods of time. And this whole thing about, well, in 3 months, in 4 months, that's nonsense. If you're not working on the right things, yeah, you could spend 3 or 4 months and barely move the needle. But trust me, you're working on the right things. In a week, you're a better player. Next month, you're a whole lot better of a player. So you can see dramatic improvement. Because think about, when we're working with the best players in the world, they might have, like when we started working with Novak 4.5 years ago, there were 9 things that year we worked on, but not nine. And a guy that had already won about, I think at
Yeah,
the time, 17 or 18 Grand Slams. There were a few things on serve, a few things on return, and a few things on play. In a junior, it could be 999 things. But you know what? We're going to tell you the number one, two, and three, and four things you need to work on. And that's what expedites the development, that you're not guessing what you need to work on. You know what to work on. And that's the biggest difference in the world, because with the top players, you're looking for a needle in a haystack. You're
yeah,
looking for those nuances that could make them win a few more points here, a few more points there, and then all of a sudden it raises their level of play. With junior development, it's not a few points here and there, it's dramatic changes that happen overnight.
right, right. And it's interesting because what it does is it gets the player, the junior player, thinking differently on the
Yeah,
court. All of a sudden, they understand that, they need to really focus on where they're hitting that forehand when they're brought inside the service line. It's not just rip it for a winner, but how do I rip it for a winner? Where do I need to be aiming?
right.
And it really raises the intellectual level of the game, even if they're already at a top tier in terms of their technique, their fitness, their footwork, all those things. Now all of a sudden they're thinking at a much higher level. And I mean,
Absolutely.
how awesome. And that's a thing that translates off the tennis court too. It's teaching them to think analytically, and then to, once they've analyzed the situation, to figure out the solution to the problem, as you were saying, find the answer to the question.
Mhm.
And this is a skill that will serve them on and off the tennis court.
Absolutely. I mean, raising your tennis IQ can happen very, very quickly. And that is, see, we can't see that, right? And that's
Yeah.
why sometimes I know there's so many parents out there looking at a player that keeps winning all the dang time. And it's like, gosh, how do you beat that player? And they don't look that good, but they beat everybody. You can't see what's going on in their head. The things we can see is their movement and their strokes and their swings and right, but we can't see in their mind the shots they're choosing, what ball they're hitting specifically to certain areas of the court. That's the unseen part, your tennis IQ. Well, if you don't improve your technique at all and raise your tennis IQ overnight, I'll guarantee you're a better tennis player, right? And
Right.
I do want to say, because I've had the fortune of being able to travel all over the world and the fortune of speaking in many different federations in the world and knowing what goes on in coaching around the world, right? In the United States, it's heavily a technical lens coaching system. So everything that goes wrong, where something went wrong with your stroke, and
Yeah.
it's like, no, that's not tennis. If you want to stand in a corner and hit cross court balls for 30 minutes and not move much and just bang balls corner to corner and try and get better at that, you're not going to be a better tennis player necessarily. That may translate zero to match play,
Right. Right. We've
right?
got one more
Yeah.
question, Brett. Two more questions. Okay. Oh, well, I think Andros just answered. Deepak asked, may I ask you if there's any platform to analyze the mental state of a player, tense, relaxed, playing to his high mental potential during match play? And I don't know if you typed this or if Andros typed it, Brett, but recommending Carlos Goffey's book, Tournament Tough, and FYI, we've done podcasts with Carlos, so highly recommend his work as well. But there are, I haven't seen any tech around analyzing the mental. I don't know how we would do that during a match. I
I
mean,
mean,
unless you could crawl inside their brain, but I don't know how that would work.
well, fortunately, most juniors tell us exactly what's going on in their brain with their body language, right?
That is true.
Right? So very, very few can hide like their physical self-image. Very few can hide if they're negative in their mind to have
Right.
a very strong physical self-image, right? That's 1 in 1,000, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the juniors really tell us what's going in their mind. Um, if need be, this is something we'd have to do extra, but we could analyze the mental state of a player because you know what? You're not analyzing when they're hitting the ball. You're analyzing the time after they've hit the ball to the next point. You're
Yeah.
also analyzing when they sit down on a changeover. So
Right.
that tells you a lot about a tennis player mentally and emotionally on a tennis court. So yes, we could do that. That would be sort of additional. But we're analyzing in this, what are you doing when the ball's in play? Right.
Mm-hmm. But even, tracking their between point rituals, right? How many times during the match are they doing that ritual the same way for the
Right.
same period of time? Are they on the side change? Are they going through the same
Right.
procedures that they've trained, hopefully, to do? And maybe that is a piece that can be added in as part of
Yeah.
it, because that's a discipline piece of match play that I think comes with maturity and experience. And even you see the best players in the world have those mental breakdowns out there.
Sure.
So, you
Their,
know,
their, their really secret sauce is refocusing. Everyone says,
yeah,
stay focused, stay focused. There's, you'll never go through a match being focused the whole time. There will always be events and circumstances will break your focus. The real secret sauce is how well do you refocus?
yeah,
That's why matches change on a dime, is players lose their focus and they can't get it back. So it's about talking about refocus skills and practicing where, they might be playing a point and a coach throwing a ball across the point and a big point in the middle of a rally and literally trying to upset one of those players in a practice match and say, okay, refocus, play it over. Because you know what? That's going to happen to you in a tournament. But self-talk is
Yeah.
really important because sometimes the kids that try to be really disciplined do all the right things, walk, get their racket up, good posture and all that. But in their brain, in their mind, they're going, you stink. How did you miss that ball on break point? You idiot. Right? And if
Yeah.
that's playing in their head, but they're like looking tough, trust me, it's still having an effect on their level of play.
For sure, for sure. Deepak, I'm going to ask you if when they reach out to you after this webinar is over, maybe you can ask your follow-up question then, because I think it will be something that's more relevant for you to have that conversation directly with Brett and Andras.
Yep.
But thank you so much for taking time to put some great questions up for us today. And I think, this has been a great overview, Brett. Thank you so much for doing this. And you and I have talked about this platform a lot, and I learned way more tonight than because I've come away from some of our past conversations like, oh, this looks really cool. I don't think I could explain it to somebody if they asked me, but now I do. I feel like I could explain it to somebody if they
Well,
asked me. So that's good. You did a
super.
great
Well,
job tonight.
good.
Thank
Well,
you.
I'm glad. Thank you for hosting this and reaching out and having some people online to hear about. But some great things are going to happen in the coming months and years for junior development, and we want to play a role in help making that happen and help juniors, improve, get better, enjoy the game more, understand the game more. And this all leads to, enjoyment and happiness of playing the game, right?
And
Um,
sticking with it,
yeah,
avoiding burnout, hopefully, which
right,
we know is a big problem in junior tennis. So,
right.
yeah, I think it's great. I want to encourage everybody, if you're not already following GottaTennis on Instagram, you guys are getting better about posting regularly. So thank you for that. And check out their website. It's just GottaTennis.com. Is that right?
Yeah, I mean, we'll officially be launching it around the 15th. And once that launches, then you're going to see a lot more social media. You're going to hear a lot more, see a lot more. And once we go live, we've been working on this for a long time. And even if you never had your match analyzed, you'd learn a lot from the education platform. But getting an MRI on your game, is a great thing. So that helps in a big way, to guide what players need to focus on instead of going in there going, that looks cool, that looks cool. It's like a kid in a candy store. Well, go to what you need, right?
Yeah,
That's the goal. Exactly.
love it.
Yeah.
Love it. Well, everybody that tuned in, thank y'all so much. And the people that missed the live version are going to be sent the recording. So
Very nice.
we're going to get the word out. And I want to just say thank you so much again, Brett, for doing this and for all the hard work you've put into it. And I'm excited to see what's coming.
Oh, great. Well, thanks a lot. And we look forward to following up with those that were on and connecting with them and letting them know how we can help.
Love it. Good night, everybody.
Good night. Thank you, Lisa.
Thanks. Good night.
Good night.
Thank you.